This is my review of the Outlite A100 900 lumen flashlight. In the box you get a charger, you get a battery, you get an adapter to put 3 AAA batteries, and another thing is it comes with a little keychain flashlight. So with everything included in the box, the flashlight will last on high for about an hour and a half, and then it starts to go really dim, and then it dies out. So medium, I guess, would last longer, and low, I don't know if that's too useful for me. What I do is I have it attached to my helmet, and I use it for night riding, and so people see me better. The lens is zoomable. You can zoom the light in and out to get a wider or a more focused effect. The light doesn't get too much brighter when you zoom it in versus out. It is still pretty bright when you have it zoomed fully out, so it's not like if you zoom in it's going to become twice as bright or something. Well, maybe if you zoom it all the way in it'll be like that, but in this video clip I was at the beach and I was zooming in and out just to see how far it would go. I zoomed into the water here and it didn't quite pick up the water, at least the camera didn't, but in person I couldn't, just barely see the water when it was zoomed all the way in, so I can't tell you exactly how far away from the water I was, but you can kind of get the idea of the distance of the other objects here as I'm looking around. It's not like you have to zoom in to have it bright, so that's neat. I noticed directly after charging the light is really bright, and then, I don't know, after maybe 5 minutes of using it, it kind of goes down a little bit, but then it stays right there. But right after a full charge, it'll stay on the highest setting for an hour and a half with the included rechargeable battery. The flashlight gets pretty hot after about 20 to 25 minutes. It's actually kind of like too hot to touch almost. I don't think you'd want to hold it in your hand that when it's that hot. I emailed the company about it and they said if it's too hot to touch it, turn the light off. Basically, they said if it's a little hot, that's okay, but if it's too hot to touch it, then it might be a good idea to turn the light off. Me, since I have it mounted on my motorcycle helmet, it's getting all the wind hitting it, so that kind of cools it off, so I can actually leave the light on without it getting too hot because of the wind. Now, the included charger didn't go too well for me. The reviews are kind of hit or miss on it, and I think I got a miss. For me, it took the battery 17 hours to charge fully, or just above 17 hours, somewhere in that area. Now, some reviews say it takes 3 hours, 4 hours, which seems a little more right, but I think I got a slightly defective charger maybe. I tried charging it for 4 hours and it only lasted 25 to 30 minutes before it started losing its brightness on high mode. I have other batteries just like it from actually a different brand, a different company, and they work perfectly fine in the flashlight. The batteries it takes are 18650 batteries, 3.7 volt. For my use, the medium setting works actually pretty well on the road when it's pitch black. I think in this clip I was using the highest mode, but I found out later, after this clip, medium actually works pretty well too, and I guess it would extend the battery life. I'm seeing some videos of bicyclists using these type of flashlights on their helmets or mounted on their bikes, and just remember, if you do that, just aim your light down at the ground, not straight out, because this light will blind people. You know, like when a light hits you and you can't see anything but that light. So yeah, when you're on the road, just have some respect and courtesy for other drivers, riders, other cyclists, pedestrians, because if your light, this light is so bright, it will make you invisible. A lot of people think, oh, my light is so bright, so they'll definitely see me. Well, guess what? That's actually kind of working against you if it's this bright, because what happens is all they can see is light, and it glares on their windshields or their helmet visors, and they might see your light, but they can't see you. They can't see what shape you are. They can't see anything beside you, anyone behind you. So it's actually a hazard if you're pointing the light at them. Personally, what I've been doing is I zoom in the light just enough so it covers my whole lane, maybe a tiny bit more. And if cars are coming around the corners or something, I'll kind of look just slightly away, but still have my eyes on where I'm going. Since I've had this light on my helmet, I I haven't actually had anyone pull out in front of me like they usually do at night. They see me really well and they stop. But even with this light, don't always assume people see you, because there's people who just don't look, or they think you're further than you are, or they think they can hit the gas really hard. Who knows what the reason is? They're on their phone, whatever. The flashlight has, I think, 5 different modes. There's high, medium, low, strobe, and SOS. I have no use for the strobe or SOS. At least I can't think of any personally for me. They kind of annoy me because sometimes I want to turn the light off temporarily, and then I want to turn it back on maybe 15, 20 seconds later, and then all of a sudden it's strobing really bright, and it's like, oh my gosh, I don't want to distract anyone on the road or something. And it's kind of crazy when it starts strobing when you don't expect it. I'd prefer if the flashlight only toggled modes when you half press it in, but it does toggle modes when you press it fully in and fully out, and so that is one annoyance. But I mean, the light is bright. It suits my needs. You can zoom it in and out. I don't think I'm blinding anyone because I'm able to zoom it in, and I can see exactly where the beam is, and I'm making sure that beam isn't hitting the cars. The zooming in and out feels nice and sturdy. It's not like it's really loose and it will accidentally move as you move the flashlight around. It doesn't do that at all. You actually have to give it some force to zoom it in and out. If you decide to use the 18650 batteries, which is basically the big old battery that looks like a AA but it's bigger, make sure you use the plastic ring that comes in the box, because that stops it from jiggling around in there and maybe losing connection. I haven't tried the AAA adapter, so I have no idea how that is or how bright it is with AAAs. But it does seem like a very good idea if you don't have a bunch of 18650 batteries laying around. If you have some AAAs, just pop them in there, and those will be your backup. So overall, I like the flashlight. I didn't like the charger. It did charge the battery, but took way too long. I mean, I'm not going to leave the thing plugged in while I'm out of the house, so a 17-hour charge usually doesn't happen straight. So if I'm sleeping or if I'm out of the house, I'm not going to leave the thing plugged in. So in reality, a 17-hour charge is more like the course of 2 or 3 days. But your charger might work, because I've seen reviews that say it only takes 3 to 4 hours. But I've also seen other reviews that say that it charges forever and it never turns green. If that does happen to you, if you get a really slow charger like that, you can probably email the company, email Outlite, send them a message on Amazon and just say, hey, I bought this and the charger is just not right. Can you please send me a new one or something? They've responded to all my questions, so they seem to have pretty good customer service. I emailed Outlite and I asked them a few questions about the batteries, like should the battery be charged before the first use, or should it go dead all the way before recharging, stuff like that. And they basically said you don't have to charge the battery as soon as you receive it. You can use it right out of the box. In my experience, it was only half charged, but they said it's okay to use it that way. They also said the first 3 times they suggest to charge the battery all the way up and then let it die. I don't think you have to let it die all the way, I would just let it die until it's kind of too dim for it to be useful. And then after the 4th time, you can charge it at any time. You don't have to let the battery die so far or whatever. You can just charge it if you need. That's what they say. As far as the battery being 3600 mAh, I don't think that's even possible for the 18650. I think the highest is actually 3400, and everyone says Panasonic makes them and they're reliable and they're protected, and I don't know what all that stuff means, but basically I think the battery they've included is a little exaggerated on what it actually is. It does work, but I just don't think it's quite as far as what they say it is. If an hour and a half total usage on high mode, really bright light is okay for you, then I think you're good. For me, I always carry some extra batteries with me in case it goes dead while I'm riding. I could just pull over. I don't even have to take my helmet off. I can just go by feel and just unscrew it, pop the new one in, screw it back in. There you go. Oh, and the flashlight also comes with the wrist strap, so that could be useful sometimes. And another thing is it comes with a little keychain flashlight. In my situation, I don't think I'll ever use it, but some people might find it useful to clip to their existing keychain, and it's decently bright. I mean, it's not like this flashlight, but it's actually a pretty decently bright little flashlight thing. So overall, I like the flashlight. I think it's nice and bright. You can zoom it in and out. You don't have to worry about blinding people because you can zoom it in however you want. For my use as a motorcycle/scooter rider, I find it really useful for night riding. I just have to be careful where I turn my head because it's mounted on my helmet. But I think for other uses like camping and trail riding and things like that, having it zoomed all the way out, I think is going to light up everything around you, because I did it at the beach and it was like, wow, I can see everything around me. So I hope this review was useful for you, and thank you for watching.